All right, let's continue working with our bouncing ball. Let's go in and take a look at where we are here. So we have some motion here, but it's relatively unconvincing. The ball's moving at the same speed when it hits the ground as it does when it moves up. So what we want to do is we want to make the ball more convincing by making it where it slows down as it reaches, as it moves up, and smashes as it comes down. And so let's do a few things. One is that we can turn on, what always helps is a little motion blur. Let's turn on that motion blur, make sure the motion blur option is on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab all the keyframes, and we're going to right click on any of the keyframes, go to keyframe assistant and do due diligence with a little easy ease. So let's see how that looks. That helps, but still, the ball's moving at the same rate when it hits the ground as when it flies up in the air. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and open up the graph editor, and we want to make sure that we're using the graph editor and not this, I got this bar in the way. We want to make sure we're using the speed graph and not the value graph. This is the value graph. We want the speed graph. And what we want to do is we want to augment the speed for how the ball travels. So here's the ball smashing down, and then here it is bouncing back up. And then on this keyframe, it's bouncing back up. And this keyframe is hitting the ground. And this keyframe is bouncing back up. So on the keyframes where the ball is bouncing back up, the first one's okay. We want to make that lazy, right? So I'm gonna grab this and drag this like this, and drag this like this. So the ball's gonna hang in the air. It's gonna have hang time. And then I wanna come, here's where the ball hits the ground. Then I wanna come over to the other time the ball's in the air. Do the same thing. I'm gonna grab those handles, drag it up like this, drag it up like this. And then we're going to go down to the next time the ball's up in the air. On this keyframe, I can see the keyframes here. I click here, drag this out a little bit this way, drag this out a little bit this way, and let's test it now. So that helps. Now the problem is, as you can see, is that something should happen when the ball hits the ground. What we want, when the ball hits the ground, we want it to accelerate. So we're going to go to those keyframes, and we're going to push them closer together like this. So now it's up in the air. Now it's going to come down and hit. And we want to push the keyframes where it's hitting the ground closer together to make that accelerate. All right. And then one here. Let's accelerate down. And then the final resting. So let's take a look, see how that looks. Much better, huh? It's getting there, all right? Now, I'm going to turn this off. And one of the problems is how long it takes for the ball to hit the ground the first time. And I want it to come down faster. So I can do a couple of things. One is I can take this first keyframe here and I can drag it closer. That'll make it hit the ground faster. The other thing I can do, I'll put this back where I started, is I can go down here. I've got the position key frame on here. I can zoom out, so to 50%. Go to the keyframe where the ball is in the air, the first keyframe. It's up in the air, oops. Where it's up in the air, grab the scrubber, and then change its position, shift and drag it upwards. I'll use the position key, so I can just drag it up higher. And now that it's up higher, it's going to come down faster, okay? So we're almost there. We're gonna look at a couple of other things, but let's stop there and we're gonna come back. We're almost finished with the bouncy ball.